I'm VJ Hamilton and welcome to the Autoimmune Reset, the place for you to learn how to thrive with autoimmune disease and feel empowered to take steps to transform your health to feel better than ever. You can start making changes today to improve your health. So with every episode, my mission is to share with you simple ways to up-level your diet and lifestyle with key learnings from my own journey reversing autoimmune disease and inspirational stories from those who have reset their autoimmune symptoms and are now thriving in life. I suffered from autoimmune disease for over 25 years and now I live symptom-free, and I wish the same for you as well. So thank you for being here and sharing this time with me. Now let's get started. Hello and welcome back to this Friday 5 episode of the Autoimmune Reset podcast. I'm your host, VJ Hamilton. I'm a nutritionist, scientist, and expert in autoimmune disease. And this is our first episode of 2026, and it's actually my birthday eve today. When it's your birthday, I don't know if you get it, I always start thinking about the past and about where I am now and where I want to be in the next few years. And it's just so reflective, I think, when it's your birthday. And my birthday is always at the beginning of the year as well. So I also am looking at how I want my year to be, as well as how I'm thinking about this birthday as well. And it's not in a dramatic way. It's not like new year, new me. I find it's more of a quieter, reflective, thinking about the challenges I've had or what's been really good in my life, what I'd like more of, what I'd like less of. And I think we can all do that. And it's just a chance to notice where you'd like your life to be. If you were looking back in 10 years' time at yourself at a certain age on a certain birthday, or what would you ask them to focus on and what would you reassure them about? And that's what I'd like to talk to you about on this week's Friday 5. And go through what I'm going to be focusing on for the next year and give you some ideas of things that you could potentially start to focus on or prioritize in your life. And as I said, this isn't about reinvention. It's almost beginning in a way that feels steady, grounded, sustainable, and something that you can commit to. So today I want to share 5 areas that I'm consciously focusing on this year. And as always, I want you to be able to take something from this and apply it to your own life wherever you are right now. The first focus for me is community, and I have been building the Autoimmune Forum for many years now. I think it's at least 5, maybe 7 years that I've created the Autoimmune Forum, and we've got an amazing community over there. And I also work a lot with parents and people living with alopecia, and I particularly like to support parents who have children with alopecia because I had alopecia as a child and I know my parents struggled a lot. I see parents now who have children with alopecia and there might not be anybody in the family with alopecia, and it brings me back to how these conditions can be really isolating. You feel like other people might not understand because they're not going through it. And that's whether it's alopecia or autoimmunity or chronic fatigue. I mean, I remember when I had chronic fatigue syndrome and people just thought I was tired. And it was actually tiring to try and explain what I was going through. And then there's pain, and there can be so many other invisible conditions which people don't understand. And it's not other people's fault for not understanding. It's hard to understand if you haven't gone through it. And the truth is, when we are trying to rebuild our health, it doesn't happen in isolation. And biologically, we know this. The nervous system will regulate more effectively when we feel supported. But emotionally and practically, it matters just as much. And one of the biggest intentions this year is to continue building spaces for people where they don't have to feel like they have to explain themselves all the time and people understand what they're going through, because just talking about it helps so much. And I really feel that when I am part of a community or I have set up a community, I really feel that that's what I should be doing more of. And that's what I'd like to focus on more next year. Just have a space where you can go ask questions without any judgment, but without that needing to be fixed as well. And I work with many clients. I help them scientifically and naturally with my nutrition and science background. This is where I feel people need so much support at the moment. And that's why the community space that I've built, like the Root Reset Circle, matters a lot to me, and I'd like over time to really build out communities for people. So that's one of the things that I am going to be focusing on. For you, you can ask yourself, where do you feel safe to be honest about how you're really doing at the moment? Is there somebody in your life where you can just tell them exactly how you're feeling? You can talk to them about it. You don't feel judged. And if you don't feel like you have that at the moment, then that's where I would be thinking about joining communities. There's lots of free communities. There's lots of places you can find support. So if you're not doing that already, then I encourage you to do so. My next focus is health and fitness, with a focus specifically on strength. And most years I'm focusing on health and fitness. As someone who works with people with autoimmune disease, I've seen how often people disconnect from movement because you might be tired, you might feel inflamed or fearful of doing the wrong thing or going to a class and not being able to do as much as everybody else. I know I used to always think that. Strength training done intelligently is one of the most powerful tools we have for long-term health. And strength is not about pushing harder, it's about capacity. I'll often go to the gym and I just check in with myself. It's like, how am I feeling today? I don't set myself a rigid routine. I will have an idea of what I'd like to do in that session. But if I don't feel up for it, then I'm not going to push myself. I feel I'm at that point with my body now that, I would like to do things consistently. And if I push myself too hard, then I'm not going to be able to do that. So this year, I'm continuing to prioritise strength training in particular. It's not to look a certain way, but it's to support my metabolic health, my bone density, my hormone balance, and just resilience generally. I just like being able to walk up a hill and not get out of breath and be able to carry all my own luggage. I'm also planning another half marathon later this year, and it's not because endurance is the goal, but because I enjoy having something to work towards. I'm just one of those people. I like to have something that I've committed to, and then I will commit to it. And training gives me rhythm in my week. I will just have this set classes or the set times that I go to the gym. It's already in my calendar. I don't have to think about it. And then if I miss a session, it doesn't matter to me. I'll just do the one the next day, but I know it's there and I know that's the time slot for that particular movement or exercise. If fitness feels overwhelming, then simplify it. Ask what kind of strength would support your life right now. And this might be lifting weights twice a week. It might just be walking consistently. It might be rebuilding trust with your body after illness and just doing very small activities. And there are so many things you can get now. You can get weighted bands. I'm getting some arm bangles and ankle bangles that I can use on walks. I really like building on a habit that I've already got. So I'm already walking my dogs every day. I now wear a weighted vest, and now I'm going to have, ankle bangles and wrist bangles. And, that might sound crazy to some people, but it really works for me. And it just means I'm getting a lot done in one session. I enjoy it. And I don't really even feel the weight on when I have my weighted vest on anymore, because I've just got to that point that my body is used to it. The next thing I'd like to focus on is simplifying my life, because one of the biggest barriers I see to recovery and healing and to happiness is cognitive overload. And there are so many decisions we can make in a day. There's too much information out there. There's so much pressure to optimize every area at once. And that's really not sustainable for anybody. And when we are trying to rebuild our health, it can't happen in chaos. If you're working in a messy room, for me, my headspace is just gone. I need to have a clear desk. I need clear space in front of me. It's just the way that my brain works better. And that's how recovery can work as well. So this year I'm actively choosing fewer mental inputs and mental stimulation. And I am just focusing on a few things in my life that I'm really passionate about. There are things that I commit to in my life or have committed to in my life that really just don't align with where I would like my life to go. And I'm just getting more confident around saying no to those things now. And that doesn't mean actually doing less. It just means doing what matters more cleanly. So making sure that I have simple food to eat, but really nourishing food, tasty food, but that I can make really easily. I'd like more simplified routines, just knowing what I'm doing every day, especially when I'm working and in that steady routine. Having clear boundaries and prioritizing rest as well, just having some days of rest or a half day of rest in my calendar every week just could make such a big difference. So for you, choose one area of your life to simplify this month, whether it's one meal that you're going to repeat every week, one routine that you can anchor your day around, or one obligation you can gently let go of, because simplicity is not about being lazy. It's going to help you in the long term, especially if at the moment you have chronic symptoms that you need to work on and you are looking at rebuilding your health this year. My next focus is prioritizing friends and family. This has been a focus for a number of years now, and it might sound obvious, but it's often the first thing that can slip when life gets busy or when your health feels fragile, and yet meaningful connection is one of the strongest predictors of long-term health. If you're listening to this and you haven't reached out to a friend for a while, then just send them a message. Even when I've got friends over in Australia, it's just so lovely to hear from them because we can reminisce, we can talk about how we might meet up in the future, and it's all very positive, and that connection makes a massive difference. But then friends who are closer to home, then it's good to message them, go for a walk with them, have a chat. I just feel so good after those types of activities. And when I'm talking about connection, it's not networking that I mean, it's those real nourishing relationships. So this year I'm being more intentional about time with the people who know me well, the people I can laugh with, and the people I don't have to explain myself to, which it just makes life a lot easier and you just feel heard in a different way. For you, who makes you feel more like yourself after you've spent time with them? Make space for those people. Even small, regular moments matter more than occasional grand plans. So yeah, it is lovely to be arranging a holiday or to be arranging a girls' trip in 2028. But the truth is, it's when you have those smaller moments, just popping in for a cup of tea or going for a walk, that can make a big difference. And lastly, I'd like to focus on expanding my network a bit and visiting more places, because as a nutritionist, you do work on your own a lot. You're seeing a lot of clients. I have a business where I'm working with people all over the world. So I am doing a lot of my consultations online. So I'm not actually seeing people in person that much. And because I'm researching, because I'm writing, because I'm doing a lot of work on a laptop, I don't feel like I see people as much. So this year I want to reach out more. I'd like to visit more places, go to more health conferences. There's some great autoimmune conferences and functional medicine conferences, and just meeting other people in business as well, because at the end of the day, I'm a nutritionist, but I am a business owner as well. And the more I can understand ways to run my business more efficiently and make the business aspect of what I'm doing more productive, then I can spend more time researching, writing, working with clients, all the things that I love, and building communities, as I said, as my first focus. So that's what I'd like to be doing this year. Having more exposures to new environments, new people, new ideas. I find when I spend time with people, I always come away with loads of ideas of things that I could do. So when it comes to focusing on meeting new people, it doesn't have to be dramatic. Sometimes it's just simply changing the scenery occasionally and going to a new town or going to a new meeting. And there's lots of networking meetings that I'm often invited to as well. Today, do one small thing this month that would expand your world. Is it a new class? Is it a different walking route? Even just changing the way you're walking your dogs can help to expand your thought process. And, they do say for brain health, actually just changing your routine can make a big difference. And it might just be a conversation with somebody that you don't know, and you can speak to them, learn about what they do, a new perspective. It can make a big difference. Those are my 5 areas that I'm going to focus on as I step into another year. That's community, strength, simplicity, connection, and expanding my horizons, I suppose. And it's not as goals to be perfect, but it is just knowing that those are the areas that I want to be committing to this year helps me to think about what I'm going to be saying yes to. And that's why it's helpful for you to do this as well. And that's why at the beginning of the year, it's not always just about setting goals. And I do like setting goals, and I'm sure I'll talk to you on another podcast episode about that. But I like to just kind of align myself to where I'd like to focus for this year, and then make sure the decisions that I'm making are aligned to that as well. If there's one thing I want you to take from this, it's this: you don't need to fix everything at once. You don't need a dramatic reset. You just need to create conditions that allows your body to repair, to recover, and making sure that you're focusing on those areas on a daily basis or a consistent basis can make a big difference. So thanks as always for listening today. If you have any questions about today's episode, feel free to head over to my Instagram account, which is at the Autoimmune Reset. You can also join my free group, the Autoimmune Forum. You'll find the link for that in the show notes. And I do have a free guide called the Autoimmunity Recovery Plan. If you are ready to start making changes in your health, you can download that and get started today. If not, have a fantastic weekend, and I'll speak to you soon. Take care. Thank you very much for joining me today on the Autoimmune Reset. I really hope you enjoyed the discussion, and be sure to subscribe to the podcast so that you never miss an episode. And if you liked it, I would hugely appreciate a review on iTunes, as it helps me understand what you like about the podcast and to help share the information with more people. I'm excited to speak to you next time. And remember, you have the power to take the reins on your health. So keep the faith and celebrate the small wins. Until next time.